It's Divas That Care Radio. Stories, strategies, and ideas to inspire positive change. Welcome to Divas That Care, a network of women committed to making our world a better place for everyone. This is a global movement for women, by women, engaged in a collaborative effort to create a better world for future generations. To find out more about the movement, visit divasthatcare.com after the show. Right now, though, stay tuned for another jolt of inspiration.
A strong, positive sense of self-esteem is your first step to anything you wish to accomplish. Yet too often, when we attempt to leave our comfort zone, we have the chorus of inner critics inside our heads, the itty-bitty shitty committee, as I like to call mine, whispering self-sabotaging doubt and untrue trash talk in our ear. This podcast celebrates women who rise above and move beyond any self-doubt and old, outmoded, limiting beliefs. Women who have reconnected with who they truly are, that gorgeous, talented, fabulous gift to the world who deserves recognition and unconditional love. My hope is that their insights inspire all of you to do the same. You know, the most beautiful thing any woman can wear is confidence. Here on Confidence in Bloom with the Divas That Care Network, I, Tina Spolatini, speak with women now secure in their own self-confidence, so we can learn from their stories of how they found themselves and became the magnificent role models they are to us now. Today, I'm speaking with Jean Wright, author of Selling Your Confidence, Forging a Successful Sales Career from Mint Cookies to Martinis, is a sales confidence builder and speaker who coaches women entrepreneurs to say goodbye to their sales fears. In Selling Your Confidence, Jean shares lessons from her 4 decades of sales experience, providing confidence building tips and empowerment for success. She's on a mission to empower women to tap into their unique strengths, use their authentic style, and be more successful with their businesses. Welcome, Jean.
Hello, Tina.
I am excited to have you because I don't like sales. And I want you to tell me how I can be confident in selling and not sound salesy, as they say, with ease.
So I think, Tina, we have to understand that a lot of us in our culture have grown to dislike the word sales because of all of our previous experiences with salespeople. And sometimes those experiences are with salesmen who make us feel like we don't understand what we're buying. They may feel like they're more knowledgeable than we are, and they're a little intimidating and just give us we're a little more scared to make a decision because we feel like we don't have all the information, we're being pressured, and we don't really want to buy. And that's what salespeople do. They make us part with our money. And then afterwards, we have that guilt about it. Like, what did I just do? Why am I feeling bad about this? I'm not sure I wanted to spend that money. And they feel like we feel like we've been manipulated. So we have to let go of those images that we don't have to be that person to be in sales. Because frankly, aren't we selling every day to each other? I think we have spoken excitedly to our friends about something that we have that we'd love for them to try. Or we'd love for them to buy it because we know it's going to change their life, right? And so I think if we take our authenticity and put that out there, like what it is we believe in and what we have passion for, I think that way we will not feel like we're being salespeople. We're actually excited about having you buy it or try something that we feel will benefit you. So that's the first step in not having that salesy feel, because those past experiences and how we can authentically make it our own kind of pitch and how we feel somebody else should feel about it. So I've really decided that the word salesy should be changed into how we feel. Actually, it's not even a word in the dictionary. It's just a made up word to describe a feeling that you get when someone is trying to sell to you with all those types of traits that I mentioned before, the manipulation, the intimidation, that sort of thing, aggressiveness. How about we change the word salesy into a positive affirmation, like selling authentically, like everyone sees you. And that's a salesy word, but it's also a way to make it positive, showing our authenticity in the sales process.
Wow. Okay. So I like that. I like that. Sure. Um, so how do we do that? Like, how do we, I guess we have to, it's a mindset,
It's a
obviously.
mindset. We have to change how we feel about the word and not feel like I have to sell. In other words, I'm going to help someone feel better about the problem that they may have or a situation they're in where they need to have a better outcome and how you're going to help them. But if we get to know that person more and understand what it is they have to solve, then it's easier for us to come up with the solution. So we have to do a lot more listening in a conversation that we have with somebody. Really hear what it is that they need instead of throwing in that sales pitch from the very beginning that may not even be what they're waiting to hear. You may have to adjust everything that you're selling to them or want them to have according to what their need is.
Right. So basically build a relationship so that you
Absolutely.
know, yeah, so you know what their needs really are, because they might think they need, product A, but really they might need product B. They just don't know it.
Right. And you won't know it either until you've talked to them enough and asked them enough questions, because that whole sales situation that you're facing someone who's looking at you and looking for information. Well, they do want to hear what you have to offer, but not until you've got enough information from them. And then you can tailor your solutions toward that. So listening is so important to the whole um, relationship that you're building. It's not really about you, it's all about them and what they need. So it's hard sometimes to do a lot of listening because we always want to put all that information out there. And oh my goodness, we want to fill in all those silent times when we're in a conversation and what do we say next? Just let the other person keep talking and ask them questions. Try to do some research in advance before you meet with them and get some information about who they are, what they need, what they do, so that you can ask those questions and be prepared.
For sure. So would you say then your, like, what you are building the confidence with is more for like someone who maybe has like their own business, like a
Yes.
coaching, like real estate? Because I'm picturing myself walking into, like, Best Buy or like a computer store,
Uh-huh.
and I think I need this, this, and this, but the guy that I'm talking to doesn't know my job. And for me
Right.
to tell him, like, well, I don't know exactly what this is, but I know that, someone told me that if I have this, then, I can do this better.
Mm-hmm.
How, like, I mean, as a salesperson, I mean, they don't really know what I want. I mean, unless they're really good and they know my job because of their
Right.
past experiences. Right now, as a coach, like, you would help me as a coach as far as how to I get my products out
Right.
there, my services.
Services. Uh-huh.
Right. Right. So that's kind of more what you're talking about. You're not really talking about me going to buy a computer or an accessory to a computer.
Well, actually, a good salesperson in that store would probably say, well, what exactly are you going to use this computer for? And, maybe I don't need the high end. You don't need the high end that does everything that is more than you need. And they may try to tailor it more, just like you buy a refrigerator. Not everybody wants a door to door, a side by side. They may want just a regular refrigerator. So that's all they really need. And that's how they have a small family or whatever. So somebody should be asking you those questions when you do buy something, in a retail situation or any situation. What I do is coach women according to what it is if you're an entrepreneur, let's face it, you have a lot of hats to wear, and you have your product, your service, you're excited about it. You want everyone to be your client, love what it is that you have to offer. But, now you have to go out and sell it, because it's not going to sell itself. You have to have people that may have tried your product to give you referrals or recommendations or reviews. But how do you do a face-to-face with somebody? Because you're afraid of selling, right? And that's what we all have to overcome. Is we're empathetic people. We care about people. We want to help you. And you're going to talk to that other person about the needs that they have for your coaching or whatever product or service you offer, and ask those questions and just pull it out of yourself that this is how your sales process is going to be. It's more about them and how you're going to help them. And then you're going to come back and say, now, this is what I'm hearing from you. You're telling me that you need to get better at this, or you feel like you have to improve that, and you can't sleep at night because you're thinking about this. And then you can say, and this is how I can help you with this, this, and this. When we work together, this is the result that I can show you. And wouldn't you have an easier time saying, yes, that sounds great. That's just what I need. And then, oh, it does cost this much, but because you've already told them all the things that they're going to get from you because they need this, what you provide, hopefully the price will be what they'll expect, or maybe they'll spend what they know they have to spend to get it. And
Okay.
they really want to work with you, is what they want to do.
Right. Because they need a solution, and
Mhm.
they don't know themselves how to, but they think you do. As okay. My next question then is, would you help? So my thing is, okay, so I want to hire a coach because I need help with this.
Yes.
And the coach gives me the price of the service that she can help me with, and I go, whoa, I wasn't really willing to spend that kind of money. Now, I know that it's an investment on myself. I'm going to improve, give myself a better life in the end, but it's still a lot of money. As the coach now, how do you decide what the price is that doesn't blow the mind?
So think about yourself, not only what you're going to teach that person or coach them on, but think about all of the experience and the work that you're bringing into coaching that person. So don't you have to do a little bit of homework? You just don't show up and say, okay, today we're going to do this. And you think about it and on the fly and make it all up as you're in front of the person. No, you have a planned approach. You have a planned program. We're going to do this today. And this is our first session. And we're going to cover this. And then on our second session, we're going to cover that. And this is the value that you're bringing, like everything that you're preparing for them to be in the session or be in whatever service that you're offering. And so it's not necessarily just that time you're in front of them. It's also all the preparation and all the work you're doing and all of your expertise that you're bringing into it. And you could do one of two things. You could, at the beginning of your program, your production, your presentation with a person, say, no, I do want to make sure that we understand that we all have budgets, and that if there is a certain budget that you feel is important, you like a range of pricing that you would consider, and you want to let me know that in advance, that would be helpful for us so that we can make sure that what we're doing in the end will be in your budget. You could do that. Or sometimes people have preconceived notions about how much things cost before they even get into it. So they may have no idea what a coaching package would be with you. So if they come back at you saying, oh, I don't have that much money, I don't know what, I don't think I can afford it or whatever, maybe you can say to them is, what were you expecting? Can you give me an idea of what you think would be a fair price? If you have an opportunity to negotiate a little bit with somebody, it's okay to say, well, maybe we can come to a mutual agreement about what would be a good starting rate to get you started and see how it goes. And then here's my full package that really will go more in depth, and they'll get a chance to start working with you and know you and feel good about, like, I really like this person. And she's letting me get started a little bit more on my terms. And then I'm going to probably go further with her. If you have that ability to do a little bit of that, like, say to them, well, what was it that you were thinking this was going to cost? Or you could say, if you research other people in my industry, this is the range that you'll usually see for the fees that we charge, just because they may not have done homework to really know what it does cost to be coached in your particular product or service.
Yeah. So you wouldn't ask a client or a potential client, what are you willing to spend? And then
no
number. No. Okay.
You could just say, what did you think it would cost? How valuable is this? After I've told you everything that I'm going to do for you, and I'm going to provide all this customer service, is tell me what you feel that value would be to you. And like, how much would you expect to pay for something like all that I'm offering you, everything that I'm offering you, if they come back at you and not seem like that's what they were thinking, because there could be something that they had some preconceived notions about what a coach does. But if you've really covered the gamut of all the service you provide and follow up with her, like, I'm going to also be doing follow-ups with you. I'll be doing check-ins with you, in addition to the time you have in person for the actual coaching session.
Yeah.
Show all the value that you bring to that program that you're offering. And I think that's how people will have a better understanding of what they're paying for.
Right. That makes sense. Yeah. And so with your experience, I'm going to go back to the realtors. I think that's what they're called, right?
Yes.
My dad was in real estate years and years ago, and he was called an agent, but I think now they're called realtors. I find the ones that I know, they're already confident. How do you sort of make people more confident? Because I'm not a salesperson, but yet, and it's been pointed out to me that I sell to my children every single day, right?
Absolutely, you do. If you do this, I'll give you this, right?
Right. And so tell me, how do you walk someone through the whole process of being, not confident to use the word sales in a way that is like a positive for the customer or client?
Right. Well, so I think there are a few things too. The sales image, we have to get that sales image of what people do every day in sales, and we're not necessarily standing there in front of this mean looking person who's forcing us to do something. Because if you think about all of our sales transactions in different ways, there are different ways people sell to you and you don't even realize it. Think of the people that you like to buy things from and how you feel about it when you do it. Those are the kinds of people you want to pull those traits from, the sales traits that you think are more appealing that you'd like to adopt. Okay, so you can do that. There are different ways that you can pull that out of you, your confidence to make that happen. Because if they made that you feel comfortable, then you'll probably make that other person feel comfortable if you're pulling out those same sales techniques that they're doing that's really pretty nice. Like, I love this product and I love how she's presenting it to me and I really like her and I want to refer her to somebody else. Like, that's who you want to be. You want to be that person, like the person you emulate. So let's think of that. Who do you really like? Take something out of your purse and start talking about it to somebody. Like, I love this. These are the benefits. These are all the features that I appreciate about this product. And the benefits of it are just amazing. Like, people will stop you, they'll tell you how pretty you look, or they'll tell you, like you should use this all the time. It's a great color for you. Like, don't you want all the benefits of having those wonderful features of that product? So, I mean, there's some ways that you can pull in all those experiences that you've had, like really change your mindset, bring in all those things that you feel you like about other people that sell something to you, and what it is that makes it feel more comfortable to you. You were mentioning about you think that real estate people are very confident. Why do
I
you
find,
think
yeah,
that real estate people are very confident?
yeah. I mean, the few that I've, met in my life, for
Uh-huh.
sure.
Okay. Okay. Is it because they have a lot of experience selling homes, or you just think that they know how to, they're well trained in how they
I
present
feel,
themselves?
yeah, like I feel like it's about their, yeah, they feel like they have the experience, I guess. And one time, my uncle's actually is a realtor, and he was selling a house that I happened, or I think it was, yes, he was buying a house for my parents, like he was helping them
Hmm.
buy a house. And I had asked him, like, how do you know about like condos versus homes and, all that stuff? And he said, his answer actually was awesome, because he said, the house sells itself. I'm here just to answer questions that you might have. Right. And I thought, okay, that kind of makes sense, because really, if I don't like the house, I don't care what you tell me, I'm not going to like the house. Right. So
Okay.
he didn't have to say, this house has this and it has that. There's air conditioning. He didn't need to say that, because my parents knew what they wanted. Right. And that's what he was showing them. But he's not really a good example, because I know him and I know
Right.
that he's a confident person, right? But at the same time, like the few that I know, they just come off as very confident.
Yeah.
But
Well,
now I think I answered my own question, because I think, like, when he answered me, the house sells itself. All you have to know, like as a realtor, you just need to have the knowledge of what that house has to offer, other than
right.
what you can see.
Right. But you can also be excited about showing, look at this room, open the door, dramatically showing a room, and how, can't you see yourself here? Wouldn't this be great for the kids? They, any colorful language that gives them a way to envision themselves there is also very helpful.
This
If
is
you ever
true.
watch some shows on TV that show these people redoing homes and then bringing them in and saying, this is going to be great for your son who loves this, and don't you think, and they add these colorful descriptions, and they help them envision them sitting there in the home. And I think when you know that, let's face it, you only really have to sell one home to have a really nice commission. And those are high ticket, these are very high ticket items, like cars, like you want the person to feel like this is something they want. And the more that you can encourage them to visualize themselves in that situation, or sitting behind that wheel, wouldn't you love to be with your family behind the wheel of this car, the beautiful upholstery and the all these special
Ah,
details that are inside.
yeah.
So, tell people how much they're going to love it, because why wouldn't they? The more that you can embellish and it's true, you're helping them visualize what their life will be like here. I mean, it's helpful. And when you're in a big ticket item like that, that's going to
Yeah.
probably sway it a little bit more to, they're going to spend a lot of time with you because they know it's going to be worth it for
Right.
them, in
Right.
the end. And that's why people stage homes, because they want you to visualize yourself in that home with, this furniture. It's not the old people's furniture, the people that live there. It's something new that they've set up to kind of help
Yeah.
you visualize
Yeah. And
yourself.
picture yourself
Yeah,
there.
there's
Yeah.
nobody else's pictures there. There's nobody else's clothes sitting there. They want you to figure out how your things are going to look there.
Right.
So,
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. That's true. I mean, I thought about that, but I didn't think of that as being the sales part. So maybe I have a whole new, like a whole different definition of what sales is. I mean, really, right?
You
Because
You
I
can
mean,
use the
really,
sales process, but you can do it however you want to make it
right.
be. Whenever you have women demonstrating cosmetics, don't they always like bring them to your home? Bring your friends. Let's all try it on. Let's see how pretty we all look. Don't you purchase it after you've tried it? Probably.
Yeah.
You-
And jewelry,
Seeing how
jewelry.
great you look,
Yeah.
or you try on clothes if you have a clothes party, like
Yeah.
where you go to the store and the person with you is helping you buy it. You look great in that. That's the best color on you. She's doing all the features of that piece of that wardrobe that you're trying on that you don't really see it because you're you, and you need somebody from outside the box to help you, to persuade you to make the right decision. So think
Absolutely.
of what we do in everyday life. You can do that in your own sales,
That's right.
you
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
process.
Yeah. So I want to ask you, you wrote a book,
I did.
and
I
tell us
did.
what it's called.
So my book is called Selling Your Confidence, and it is a little story because the subtitle is Forging a Successful Sales Career from Mint Cookies to Martinis. And what I decided is I wanted to write about a lot of different experiences I've had in selling for my career because I've worked for a number of different businesses and all kinds of products and services. But where did I really get the bug for selling? Like, what made me want to do this kind of work? Because it seems like every job I've had has been in a sales capacity. And I realized it was when I wanted to sell Girl Scout cookies. Here in the United States, we have that annual Girl Scout cookie campaign, 4 months of the year, and 200 million boxes are sold. It's just an amazing campaign.
Yeah, we
But
have it here in Canada too.
when I was in my sales career, my mother always said to me, she just always say this, I can't believe I didn't want you to sell Girl Scout cookies. And look how much you sell. You sell like you love selling. And I said, yeah, you didn't really want me to sell them, did you? She says, no, I didn't think that it was the right thing for our daughter to be going door to door. Back then it was all door to door and asking people to place the order and collect the money and deliver the cookies. And I just said, well, everybody loves them, so why wouldn't they like them? And we didn't want you to be that door to door image salesman that they didn't like. And they didn't want me to asking money from people like the neighbors. So I wanted to support my troop and be part of the group. And I thought it would be fun to go and ask people for money. I
My
just
goodness,
didn't seem to
couldn't imagine.
bother me. So sales was not their thing, but they eventually allowed me to do it. And then I loved doing it. And I thought, this is how I'm going to start my story. And just kind of built from there and to show that we can be confident in ways that we never thought we would be able to, and in circumstances and situations that, especially in sales, it's kind of a lonely world when you're out there on your own trying to knock on doors and get into have meetings and that sort of thing. I did a lot of that, on the street kind of, cold calling and that sort of thing. But I enjoyed it, but I learned a lot of lessons from it and how to be confident, especially for women who are in that industry, how to handle certain situations that you come up against. And, eventually we become adults, and the martini part is more about like, well, what kind of little prize can I get at the end of my little sales journey? A little martini wouldn't be bad. But it's kind of a little lighthearted, but also like a little bit of a memoir. But I also provide sales tips, things that I learned along the way, and situations and stories about what you can do in certain situations like networking or presenting a product, and how to answer questions from somebody like you had raised. Well, what if somebody doesn't feel like they want to spend that money or it's too expensive? Like, how do we handle those situations? So there's a lot of little tips and stories that I think are very helpful, especially for women.
That's excellent. And so would you say that it's more like for like someone who sells services, or like MLM
Well,
consult?
I've done the multi-level marketing thing with holding products up in front of people and, in people's homes. And that was a fun thing for me whenever I was raising my children and needed to keep my sales skills going and make some money and keep people happy with the products they love. So I've done that. I have a whole chapter about home-based businesses.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
I think a lot of people will get it. And then a lot of, corporate selling for bigger companies or smaller privately owned companies. But all in all, as I kind of went from the sales career and decided what I want to do next, I just was meeting people in these women's groups who were entrepreneurs, like who we all are now, and saying, I just don't feel good about asking for the sale or going out and doing that whole sales presentation. It makes me feel uneasy. How can I feel better about that? And that's when I decided we need to build up our confidence and help each other feel better about not sales, but about providing services and solutions to problems people have.
I love that. That's a great idea. And so now, are you coaching women?
I am. I'm doing coaching one-on-one. I will customize we have a little chat. I find out what your needs are, what areas maybe that you're a little stuck on, and we can have a special coaching session together. And that kind of helps you feel like you can move on and be a little bit more confident about, hey, this feeling I have is not unusual, and I know the ways that I can overcome it. So that's where I come in with that.
Oh, I love it.
I do speaking too, and little podcasts and webinars and things like that if groups of people want to learn more. And I've done that too.
So an author and a speaker.
Yes, that's really a fun part of it.
Yeah.
I like being in front of people. I don't have a problem. When you're in sales, really, that's what you do.
Well, this is true. Yeah. Sales, you have to have a bit of the gift of the gab, right? But I think it's not even that you like to talk. I think it's more about you're confident in what you know and what you can share. Yeah.
Right. I mean, I can talk to people that are in banking and I really know nothing. I'm not in that industry. But if someone's going to speak to me about how to invest my money, I'm really going to listen to them because I know that they're the expert and I may not be the expert in that field. So you have to really embrace what you're an expert at and use that as your confidence to help other people. Like you have a confident theme with your business. That's what kind of drove me to want to talk to you because we have similar mission in life for women.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Build confidence. But if you want to talk to me about yoga, forget it. I really don't like it. And I'm not going to tell you how to do it because I'm not an expert in that. But I can tell you who I know who may be an expert in that. And that's where it all helps when we can all be connectors. And, I may not be the best person to talk to about this, but I know someone who is the expert in that. Is really good at that. And let me have you speak to them. And then we help each other with our businesses and refer each other.
And
it's all good.
Yeah. And I think as a customer, that's important as well, right? Jean couldn't help me with this. Like I needed a yoga instructor, but she could coach me. Like I'm going to open my own business. She'll be able to help me with getting my product sold. Right. I mean, that's kind of how, that networking sort of works. So that's important. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So is there anything else you want to share with our listeners about your services, about your book or anything, advice?
Oh. So my book is available on Amazon and it's also available through my website, sellingyourconfidence.com. And I also have a free coaching moment that you can receive directly from my website that you can just download. And it gives you some more tips on how not to feel salesy and a little bit of a worksheet on that. And I do offer 45-minute free coaching chats so that we can see where you are in your sales process and where you may need some help. So, those are the kinds of things I can do for you or speak virtually to people anywhere with tips or a presentation specifically geared to some aspect of the sales process.
Right. Yeah, I love that. That's perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really learned a lot of nuggets, actually, and I mean, I talked with you a couple times before today. And so I'm like, yeah, my brain is kind of going, oh, okay, so I know what I can do, right? And I know I can reach out to Jean if I have any more questions.
Well, whenever you're in a session with somebody with some information, sometimes it can be overwhelming. There's a lot of information there, but you take from it what you think is going to be helpful to you. And I think everybody feels that way, even when you're in a networking situation. You don't have to meet everybody, but there are certain people you're going to remember, or there's information you're going to take back with you that you can follow up with. So
Yeah,
I'm glad to hear that you had some nuggets that were helpful for you to use for your business.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Jean.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me today.
Confidence in Bloom is a celebration of self-love, a confirmation that even though you may not look like a screen star or a supermodel, they don't even look like that. You are an amazing, desirable, brilliant, gorgeous, talented woman. We offer unconditional love to our partners, our children, our extended family, even our pets. It's high time we got out of our own way and learned to unconditionally love ourselves. In Full Bloom, Success Styling and Coaching offers an online course combined with one-to-one coaching in confidence building, personal branding, and creating your signature fashion look. Chic definitely does come in every shape. So if you want something to believe in, start with yourself. If you'd like to be a guest here on Confidence in Bloom, contact me through Instagram at infobloomstyling or by email at tina@infobloomstyling.com or through the Divas That Care website.
Thanks for listening. This show was brought to you by Divas That Care. Connect with us on Facebook, on Instagram, and of course on divasthatcare.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter so you don't miss a thing.